we're not 100% against, oh, no more screen time, should go live in the woods, but we're trying to teach kids to monitor their screen time. We're trying to teach parents have a balance. Kids in your class are spending how much time on screens?
Yeah, like start competing about how much time they're spending on their screen, which is just crazy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Myers. Welcome to the Myers Detox Podcast. And on this show, we talk about everything related to heavy metal and chemical toxicity and more advanced topics than you'll hear on other podcasts. We talk about bioenergetics and emotional trauma and just all kinds of topics related to health. And so today we have a really interesting show. We're going to be talking about how screen time is affecting kids emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and tips that parents and teens can use to reduce their screen time. It's really shocking, some of the statistics and research that's out there. And this is a huge issue of our time. Adults and teens are addicted to their phones. I definitely am guilty of this as well because, I've got to work, be on social media for work, you know. And so this show has a lot of tips for people to reduce their screen time and why they want to do that and replace that with more of a sense of purpose and goals. So our guest today was really interesting. I'd never had any teens on the show today, but we have Abdullah, Zain, Emaad, and Qasim Ansari. They're the hosts of the Holistic Kids Show podcast, and it's in the top 2.5% of all podcasts in the world, super popular. They're also national speakers, co-authors of the traditionally published book, The Teen Health Revolution, which we will talk about that, helps kids to eat a healthier diet and learn about exercise and learn about spirituality and so many other things related to their health, addressing the top 20 health concerns and things like that. So it's the Teen Health Revolution, Lifestyle Secrets to Optimize Your Mind, Body, and Soul. And they're the co-authors of the best-selling Adam's Healing Adventures children's health book series. And the Holistic Kids have lectured at the leading integrative and functional medicine conferences, including being the first youth speakers at the 2024 International Institute of Functional Medicine, or A4M, and the Health Business Growth Collective Mindshare Summit in 2025. And they've also spoken at the Festival, served as keynote speaker at the YMCA Interfaith Mayor's Breakfast, and presented at major conferences, reaching audiences of over 60,000. And the Holistic Kids have received the Up and Comer Award from the Health Business Growth Collective in 2025. And in May 2025, Abdullah was featured in the docuseries Young and Thriving as a young voice for mental health who's bringing a unique perspective of today's youth into the conversation. And Abdullah and Zain have also made appearances on the award-winning show, Dr. Nandy's Show. I've been on that show too. And Zain has also been selected for a TEDx talk in February 2026. Very, very impressive. And the Holistic Kids have also been featured on top podcasts and print and online media outlets like the Wellness Mama podcast, the Rational Wellness podcast, and the Holistic Primary Care Magazine podcast. So really, really good show today, and you can learn more about them at teenhealthrevolution.com and the holistickidspodcast.com. So guys, thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much. It's really our pleasure. It really is our pleasure.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to write your book, and you have a podcast, you're going around speaking. You guys are really ambitious.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We're really honored to be here, but it really started really slowly. We really went step by step. We just didn't like pop out and we started doing this. We slowly were educated by our mom, who is also learning with us about these tips on how our body works, to listen to our body, to um the toxic environment, being aware of like the tech. But I think during COVID, where everyone was really, they didn't know about their health too much, our mom was like, what about you guys use your knowledge? So we decided, you know what, we're going to start this podcast. We're going to work because we're stuck at home all day. Let's talk to kids. Let's talk to adults, like for kids. That's by kids, because we're just asking the questions that a lot of kids aren't asking these experts. So slowly we start interviewing all these experts. Now we're over 200 podcasts. Been
That's
5 years.
amazing. I love it.
And this is really important because then we use this to create a book, which now I'm a teen, Abdullah's a teen, and we really wanted to get this out to the teen generation because after COVID, I noticed there were some issues with my like my friends. Like my best friend, he tried to kill me. So, or threatened to kill me. So I realized this, and I realized, you know what? A lot of teens these days, they're stuck on social media, they're stuck on their phones, they're eating whatever they put in their mouth. We need to wake up. So that really motivated me to start this book, and really all of us seeing our own what's going on in
Yeah.
school.
And
Yeah, so
like Zan said, that we're just whatever we can find, we're just stuffing into our mouths. We're not even thinking about what we're actually eating, and that's why right now 1 in 2 kids actually have a chronic condition, and mental health struggles are on a rise, and all of these, mental health problems, chronic disease, all of the factors that teens are especially dealing with nowadays, that's really destroying our future. A lot of it has to do with what we're consuming visually
true.
as well as physically, what we're eating, what we're putting into our bodies. But the problem is most teens are not, they don't realize what we're doing to ourselves. No teen actually knows what when they visually consume something for 2 hours, they scroll for 2 hours at night. Teens don't know what that does to your brain and body. And we're told that, oh, it's okay, that's what everyone's doing. And when in reality, we're destroying our future. And that's why we need to revolutionize our, teen health, and we need to revolutionize the future now.
So now a word from one of our Myers Detox podcast sponsors. Hey, I'm Dr. Wendy Myers, and one of the things that I'm obsessed with doing is my nightly skincare routine. It's something I've done since I was a teen. And one of the things that I added a few months ago was a bond charge red light face mask. So doing red light therapy in the evenings. And this is something that has totally transformed my skin, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. And right now is a great time to get your own mask because Bond Charge is having a holiday sale. You can get 25% off by going to bondcharge.com, and the 25% off will just be taken off the cart. The Bond Charge Red Light Face Mask uses the power of red light therapy to help to rejuvenate skin so the skin looks younger, firmer, and more radiant. It helps reduce the appearance of aging and fine lines and wrinkles, and all from the comfort of your home. No appointments necessary. You don't have to go anywhere. It's really quick and easy to use. You only need to do it about 10 to 20 minutes a day to see results, and it's cordless, so you can do it, while you're walking around and watching TV or reading or whatever. And so what I do about 5 days a week, I don't use it every single day, but about 5 days a week, I will just put it on when I'm laying in bed. I have like a little nighttime routine that I do. So it doesn't take any time out of my day. I'm laying on my PEMF mat before I go to bed, and I put the red light mask on. It's got little holes in it so you can see through it and be on your phone or reading or what have you. And so that's one of the ways that I wind down at night and take care of my skin. Plus, all of Bond Charge's products are FSA, HSA eligible. That can give you tax-free savings up to 40% off. I know that you'll love the Bond Charge Red Light Face Mask as much as I do. So go to bondcharge.com. So there's a really good deal for the holiday season, giving 25% off. That's the biggest discount that they have all year. So if you've been curious about red light therapy and what it can do for your skin, highly recommend you try it and make it part of your nighttime skincare routine. So this sale ends on December 31st. So, sign up to get yours or get one as a gift for a family member or a friend. Again, bondcharge.com. Yeah, and then your book's called The Teen Health Revolution, and you talk all about diet, and we'll get into all that in a minute. And so I wanted to talk to you about screen time and what that's doing to kids' brains. And you just mentioned that a second ago. So talk to us about how parents can get their teenagers off of screens.
Well, first of all, you're right. Teens are completely like we're basically stuck. I mean, 3/4 of teens are dealing in adolescents are dealing with depression and anxiety. Teens right now are, there's actually 1 in 3 girls have seriously thought of committing suicide. Preteen girls. And this is a problem. And if we continue to act like, oh yeah, no, it won't get worse, and we ignore this problem, it's never going to go away. And like you said, one of the problems, I know it sounds like, oh, how is this even connected, is screen time.
Yeah.
We're not
I
we're not 100% against, oh, no more screen time, should go live in the woods, but we are trying to teach kids to monitor their screen time. We're trying to teach parents that, have a balance. Don't I know, Emaad, right? Kids in your class are spending how much time on screens? Like,
Yeah, like they'll start competing about how much time they're spending on their screen, which is just crazy.
Mhm.
like
I
the
know,
kids.
because you can monitor it on your phone, and sometimes it's just really shocking. You're like, how did I spend 12 hours on my apps today? How is that even possible? You could be spending that time so much more productively. But kids, that it's so easy to get sucked into the phone. The apps are designed to keep us addicted, keep us on our phones, looking at ads. And even when you have awareness of that, it's so difficult to get off of your phone. They're so addictive.
Yeah, like I think there's a study going that saying that 96% Gen Zers say that they can't even go in the bathroom without their phones. This is crazy. Like in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, and it's not even a study. I can see it at high school. Teens are addicted to their phones and they don't know why. They're just like, "Oh, well, I'm bored, so, my phone's there. I can maybe play a game or scroll some reels." And I have to remind them that, you know what, this is not how things are supposed to be. We're supposed to be out playing. We're supposed to be out having fun, all like away from the screen, limiting screen time, because what this leads to is loneliness. We're not being connected with our community anymore. We are not being mindful anymore, or we're losing gratitude by seeing all these negative consequences going around all around the world, or on social media, where we can find constant comparisons with other people in our school. It's just, or school, or even like world. We, as teens, we have the entire world at our fingertips. So teaching kids how to use this information is really important.
Yeah, and it's directly proportional. The more screen time you have, the more depressed you are, the more anxious. I mean, there's just a direct proportional correlation to that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and so actually, it's really interesting, these studies that just came out. Social media has actually been linked to poor physical health, especially among college students. It's been linked to higher levels of CRP, which is a blood marker of inflammation that actually predicts chronic disease like heart disease, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even stroke. Social media is especially affecting our mental health. And I've seen this in my friends, I've seen this in my peers, I've seen this in my classmates. How many of us, I mean, nobody really feels good after spending like scrolling for 2 hours. Like after 2 hours, your brain is just like in a mess. Like you just like feel off. And the problem is that the teens are doing this every single day.
Yeah.
And actually, social media, yes, it's a source of connection, because a lot of teens are like, oh, but I love connecting with my friends on Snapchat. I want to do this and I like doing that. If I don't have my phone, I'm disconnected. I'm like live under a rock. But actually, social media is also becoming a form of stress. And teenagers, we are never told how to manage that stress. And so because of that, that leads to more chronic disease, leads to more inflammation. And I heard this one the quote that we're more connected than ever before, but yet so many people feel disconnected, and that's because of these phones and especially social media.
Yeah, I over the years, I've spent more and more and more time on my phone, more and more isolation. Because if you don't have a phone, you're forced to go out and socialize, which is we naturally gravitate towards. I've had to check myself on the social media use. Um, and I've also read studies that some teens are dealing with dementia, that they are even showing early signs of dementia from being on their phones. They can have vision issues with the retina kind of starting to get burned out from looking at this blue light, which is really unhealthy for us in so many ways. I mean, there's just so many consequences that people don't account for.
And plus, like you mentioned, I think the memory issues, blue light, like you just mentioned, EMFs and all that kind of stuff that is, plaguing households, and people are just thinking, oh, it's fine. How can light from a screen do to me? Like, come on, we see the sunlight all the time. Isn't that supposed to be helpful for us? But in reality, it's actually destroying our sleep. It's destroying how our like studies have come out and shown that actually those who spend, they go on the internet, they go on their phones, they go on social media right before bed, it actually decreases their quality of sleep. Meaning that they wake up and you might have gotten 8 hours of sleep, but you because you just were on the screens right before, it's like you got 1 hour of actually deep, useful sleep. And that's the problem, is that we need sleep, and as teens, we're already sleeping terribly. And on top of that, we're adding these phones so that the little sleep that we do get is basically our body can't do as much as it wants to use with it. And that's why it's affecting our mental, our like you said, our memory, our focus. I mean, I don't know if I know for us especially, maybe like parents have noticed, and we've definitely noticed, like a lot of kids around us, they're so hyperactive. They can't focus. They can't like stay in one thing for too long. Our attention spans are absolutely like destroyed. And it's because at the end of the day, we're just not watching ourselves, and we're just letting these things dictate what we do. And at this point, they're controlling us.
Yeah. Yeah, and, when you mentioned sleep and, when you're a teen, you're growing. You need to get that deep sleep, and you get deep sleep in the beginning of the night. So if you are on the phone, you're staying up maybe an hour or 2 later than you should, it's very hard to get off of that phone. You're compromising your deep sleep and even your height. People are probably getting shorter and having a lot of health issues and brain development issues at crucial points that you can't get back once you pass these crucial points of various areas of your brain development, and it's that the phones are causing so many issues in that regard, even with just sleep.
Yeah, we think it'd be like so obvious. Yeah, no, we're not taught this in schools. You'd think that when it's destroying our future, that at least schools, would teach us what these phones are doing to us. Yet we're not seeing any of that. And that's why we need, especially teens, adults, teachers, if you're watching this, teach us. Because the problem is that it's not that we want to destroy our sleep. It's the fact that we just don't know. And that's where the main root problem is.
Yeah. And talk about spiritual health. I think, a lot of teens have a spiritual crisis. There's, especially teen boys have a very higher suicide rate than girls or boys in general. And you mentioned, what was it, 1 in 3 girls had suicidal ideation. What
Yeah.
are the phones doing to our spiritual health?
A lot of teens, they don't have purpose. They're going on their phone just to waste time. We're using this time as just something to get over with instead of actually do something with their lives, connect with a higher purpose. Because when you have a higher purpose, when you can look forward to something either in the afterlife or like for your life, when you are constantly being motivated to do something, you can use this time and you can use your body and your brain to focus on it instead of being lost, feeling that there's no point in me, I have no purpose, I mean nothing to this world.
And also, more parents don't realize this, is that these phones are basically using up our time. That time that we'd be using to think. I know that I heard this one professor. He said that being bored is one of the best things you could do for yourself, because that's when you get all of the thoughts that are gonna help you. That's when all the most creative things happen, and that's when you are able to actually change your life. The problem is, instead of trying to better ourselves and change our lives, we're just saying, okay, let me just go on my phone, instead of trying to go and learn how to become better, reach our true potential. Actually, no, let me just go waste my time watching TikTok or scroll for 2 3 hours and not get anything from it. And because of that, we're not thinking about our future. And on top of that, though, that scrolling is destroy is like it's making teens' ability to manage your stress even worse. So now once they get to the future, they become adults, they don't know what to do with their time. They don't know
Mhm.
how to progress, because all they've been doing anytime they've especially felt anxious or depressed, go to the phone. And so because of that, we're not learning how we're not even advancing, and we're not trying to become better, like at least try and go and find our future and find our true potential, because we're just stuck on our phones. And obviously phones are really useful, and we can't deny saying that everything now is on social media.
Mhm.
But the problem is that we're not even going on our phones for a purpose. And that's what my mom especially used to say to me all the time. She used to tell me, like, and this is the best advice I think I've ever gotten from my phone. And one of the best advice that she's ever given me is when I first got my phone, she told me, whenever you go on your phone, always remember to go for a purpose.
Mhm.
And that helped me take control of what I'm visually consuming, being more mindful about what I'm doing, and actually being able to use the phone to progress in my life. And that's why teens need to be taught. But yet so many teens are missing that nowadays. And that's what we're trying to teach people.
Yeah, and even the design of the phone, we're constantly being preoccupied with loneliness because of all these clicks, alerts, these likes that are constantly telling us, stay on the phone. Don't go to your family to eat dinner with them. Don't go to your friends and hang out with them. Don't don't just stay on your phone. And this social media is adding to our growing spiritual crisis.
Yeah, like I was talking about, they make sure that it is addicting. That they make sure it is addicting by like making the times like on TikTok make it scrolls. There's a reason why it's called scroll, because there's like seconds, and when you hit the dopamine effect every time you scroll, just makes you do it one more time. Like doom scrolling, you don't even know when you're doing it. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna go for like a little like 5 minutes, and you look at your phone and it's really like 6 or 7 hours. Like this is just crazy. Doom scrolling is like crazy. People don't really take this how serious this should be.
And now a word from one of our sponsors of the Myers Detox podcast. So I want to tell you about a lip peptide treatment that I've been using, and I've gotten amazing results. And it was created to help you restore smoothness, fullness, and lasting hydration to your lips while protecting against visible signs of aging and environmental stress. And what I love most about this lip peptide treatment is that it contains True Energy's signature proprietary biophoton frequencies to enhance cellular communication, optimize ingredient absorption, support collagen production, and helps lips maintain their smooth, fuller appearance over time. Something I'm really into right now at age 53. And honestly, I can't ever see myself using any kind of skincare unless it has frequencies in it that enhances its effectiveness and sends new information to your skin and to your lips to improve their appearance. So this True Energy peptide contains plant-based botanical oils, vegan moisture sealing waxes, and a collagen boosting clinically studied peptide infused with True Energy's signature frequencies to condition, smooth, and energize lips for a healthier, more youthful appearance. And each ingredient is also sourced to meet high purity standards and doesn't contain any synthetic fragrances, parabens, toxic ingredients, or harsh petrochemicals. So if you're ready to smooth away the look of fine lines around your lips, maintain lasting softness and hydration without stickiness, enhance natural lip volume and contour, protect against dryness, flaking, and environmental damage, and energize your own lips repair and renewal cycles, True Energy is offering a BOGO special, so you can buy one, get one free for a limited time for my listeners only. So go to trytrueenergy.com/Wendy3. So it's TRYTRUENERGY.com/Wendy3 to get a buy one, get one offer. This is something that I use every single night. I absolutely love this product. Highly, highly recommend it. I know nothing can compete with the dopamine that you get from scrolling and just constantly the new images or stimulating images and the light and the information. Then you're laughing and then you're entertained and you're just constant, like you're like a rat on like the little reward bar, getting your dopamine hit, and then all your dopamine is drained, and that drains all of your motivation to do anything else. And you're exhausted and not motivated to do anything after that session on your phone.
And that's why also, I think I read this book called The Anxious Generation, and he mentioned like how we're staring all day at our phones is affecting our spiritual health. And actually most spiritual practices require you to get together as a whole. Use that stillness, use that silence, focus on, forgiveness, less on judgment. And with the phones like basically taking us away from that, it's destroying our sense of purpose. It's destroying our spirituality. We're spending less time in nature. I mean, like teens at this point, we'd rather like I know our mom used to joke like back then being in our room was like the worst thing that you could do to us. And now being outside is the worst thing you could do to us. And that's the problem, is that we've kind of trained our brains to only stay on this device, not get out into nature, not connect with other people. I mean, nowadays most teens are struggling to even look people in the eye when they have conversations.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the saddest consequence of this is kids just not going outside and playing anymore. I remember when I was a kid, every day I couldn't wait to get out the door and just go play with other kids. And that's all I did my whole childhood, until the video games came along and then I was stuck in the house like, playing video games. So I did have some consequences there. But yeah, it's just sad. Like, like my daughter doesn't really ever want to go outside and play. And that's my entire childhood every single day. And it's just a very stark contrast. I think kids get a lot of brain development that we know they do. Get a lot of brain development just from playing, just from being creative, playing with Barbies, playing with trucks and all of that role playing and imagination and creation. And that is just completely lost on this generation.
And especially because we think that, oh, once they become adults, right? Like then they'll fix themselves, then they'll become better. When in reality, when they become adults, these habits are going to continue to affect them. I mean, what's going to happen to our future doctors, future engineers, future lawyers, future businessmen if we're all stuck on our phones and we're not getting outside, not connecting with other people? If we're all sick and we're all mentally ill, what's going to happen to that next generation? What's going to happen to our generation? And that's why we need to wake up. And that's why we also like to give out that there is still hope. That just because that you've started to do this, just because it's happening now, just because you're going through this, doesn't mean that this has to be your life. You can wake up and take back control of your life now.
Yeah, and my concern also is the phones are creating a world of addicts, essentially. When you're getting that dopamine, 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 and then regular life, day life just feels really dull and boring. And then as you get older, you're gonna want to go to the next thing that gives you that dopamine, the next thing that gives you all that dopamine. And that's the nature of addiction. That's the beginning of the addiction process where people want more and more and more dopamine.
And actually, that's what we're seeing. Like, I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting, and it kind of makes sense for what's happening. Is actually when social media was first still coming out, did you know that they actually went and consulted with the psychologists that work on making gambling and casinos addictive and making people want to come back to gamble more and more and more, and that entire psychology, and they actually then implemented that into social media. They use those same tricks, and now they basically giving it to kids. And now what, 2, 3, 4 are stuck scrolling and scrolling. I mean, we've even seen in our family that one of our cousins, he was given that he started to only go on the screens, and because of that he's nonverbal, and he's started to show signs of autism, and it's just horrible because it's all so preventable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things where for a lot of parents, the iPad is the electronic babysitter.
Uh-huh.
It just makes it a lot easier for you as a parent when your kid's not running around, sticking their fingers in electrical outlets and all the things that kids get into. You just stick them in front of the iPad and then you can just relax and do what you feel like doing. And a lot of, we're all guilty of doing that, raising kids. So are there any tips that you can give parents, to help their kids manage their social media?
So I think honestly, just no social media between before like high school, because I really just like it's like a little bit they're a little bit too young for that maybe. And maybe if they have that, they're not gonna be able to use it wisely and manage it, cyberbullying and everything else. And like yeah, so there's no social media before 16, and we need to start having phone-free schools because it improves like mental health and socialization skills.
Now
Like
studies have come out and it's even shown that kids are actually doing better because they're not destroying their brains just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and getting these dopamine rushes.
Are you taking collagen supplements? Well, check this out. So our friends at Organifi have sourced the best collagen on the planet, and you can get it with 20% off savings today too. So what is collagen? So it's the most abundant protein in our body. It's everywhere. It's in your muscles, your joints, your hair, your skin, your fingernails, everywhere. And it's one of the fundamental building blocks of life. And your body uses collagen constantly to keep itself refreshed and repaired. But as you get older, especially as women that are going into menopause, you can lose 30% of your collagen within the first 5 years of menopause. And that starts in perimenopause as well. So your body just stops making as much of it and you start losing it, especially as your estrogen levels come down. And so that's why consuming collagen is such a great idea every single day. So it gives your body a fresh supply to keep working at its best. And it's not only good for your hair, skin, and nails, it helps to support your gut and metabolic health, your immune system, your cardiovascular strength, and all of your muscles and moving parts too. And collagen's nothing new. It's one of the oldest supplements out there. And collagen supplements have been around for quite a while now. But what makes Organifi so special is it's all about the quality. So the non-organic collagens scare me. They're really, really problematic because they can be full of glyphosate and pesticides and other chemicals that you do not want to be taking on a daily basis. Because not all collagens are the same. So it can come from many different sources. And the source can drastically impact its potency and effectiveness as well. And some manufacturers just go with the cheapest stuff that they can find and then add fillers and artificial flavors, and they still charge you a lot of money for that. So Organifi always goes the extra mile to ensure their quality is the best. So they blend 5 collagen types from 4 different sources, and they taste and test until it's perfect. And then they go even further to test for things like glyphosate residue and other sneaky toxins that can get into the mix. And after passing through all of these goalposts, it finally gets the Organifi seal of approval. So you can rest assured it's the highest quality and non-toxic. And I love that this company is a company that I can trust, that their products will be safe and effective exactly as they say they will be. And in the supplement world these days, that kind of honesty and transparency is getting harder to come by. So if you've never tried collagen, now is a great time to start. And if you're already taking it, now is a great time to switch to a better brand, upgrade what you're doing right now. So you and your entire body are going to love Organifi. Collagen is something that I take on a daily basis. It's been a part of my supplement routine for the past 5 years since I went into menopause. And so I can't recommend it highly enough. And so now let's talk about saving you some cash as well. Here's what you do. Go to Organifi.com/Myers Detox and put in coupon code Myers Detox to get 20% off. So go to Organifi, ORGANIFI.com/MYERS and don't forget the Myers Detox coupon code as well. You'll save an extra 20% off by putting in my special coupon code Myers Detox. So like I said, collagen is one of those things that I take every single day. It's one of the most important parts of my anti-aging protocol, the things I'm doing to fight off the clock. So for me, taking clean collagen is really important. It's hard to find. So I highly, highly recommend Organifi collagen. Yeah, I was so happy in Texas this year. They made a law to have no phones in schools. I'm like, what a concept that they go to school to learn, not be on their phones. Because when my daughter was going to school in Mexico, she was going to Waldorf school, and they were allowing phones at the school. I'm like, hello, this is supposed to be a Waldorf school. There's not supposed to be any electronics or computers or anything. But at lunchtime, the kids are just on their phones. They're not socializing. But here in Texas, and I think Florida too, they made a law of no phones in the schools, and it's such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Now we see that even out in our school, like at lunchtime, even when we're trying to talk to our friends, they're just on their phones. They're just on there like, Zain, right? You don't have a phone, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. And like going to like lunch and stuff, like my friends, like they're like we kind of really stand out because we're like talking and everything while all the other tables are always like on their phone and stuff. So it's like I think it's yeah, just keeping that socialization like part of like your daily life, like trying to like avoid your phone like usually, but also teaching your kids at a young age for parents. I know a lot of parents can't do this, but if like new parents, they can start teaching their kids at a younger age, start teaching them that, you know what, yeah, we should really like understand what this phone is doing to us, how we maybe feel about it, why we want our phone, like really help the kid understand, because like what the phone's really doing to their body, because a lot of kids, they don't know, so they're just doing it because everyone else is doing it. So yeah, being really mindful of the phone is really good. Mindful of the phone, like social media.
Also, we've gotten a lot of like complaints when we tell parents. It's like, oh, but my when I tell this to my son or daughter, they're like, but everybody, we like, why we love our phones so much? Why do we have to get off of this? You're being so cruel. You're being like oppressive. Why are you doing this to us? And and the problem is that uh, especially adults and parents are not teaching kids why. They're just saying, oh, don't go on the phone because I said so. And as teens, we're kind of, as soon as like our parent says something not to do something, we kind of want to do the exact opposite.
Yeah, that would not have
So,
worked on me. I have the why. Why?
exactly, and that's
But
why.
I've seen, parents, friends of mine that try to implement this, like give their kids got 30 minutes a day on the phone, whatever they wanted, the iPad, their phone or video games. They had to prioritize 30 minutes a day, and just the battle and the begging and kind of addictive behavior, begging and begging and begging, and then they beg too much, they'd lose their privileges for the next day. But it was a constant battle. And it just shows how addicted, kids are to their phones.
Hmm.
Also, a big factor that we always need to mention is parents. You guys, as much as we hate to say it, are our role models. If you're always on your phone, always, scrolling as well, and we see that, then we're gonna do the exact same thing too. So please start educating yourself first. Please start implementing it into your lives so that our lives in the future will be better as well.
And also, you mentioned like how there's like this constant battle. Oh yeah, can we please have more screen time or whatever? With this 30 minutes, and I think what happens with this is like the jump between like maybe what's going on at school, what everyone else is saying, and like what's going on at home. Because 30 minutes, it could be really like, it might be like really extreme for like a lot of the teams. Like I know what we do is we do maximum 2 hours, because then this gives us a time limit to, okay, we have this amount of time and we can then just do this and then focus the rest of our time. Instead of constantly begging, we can use that time as like a resting time, while the other time we can go work mode, play outside,
Mhm.
and everything like that.
Yeah, 2 hours sounds more reasonable to me. You
Yeah.
can't do anything in 30 minutes. It's like
Yeah.
gone like that. You're like, wait, I just got on there. But yeah, so
So
you think 2 hours is a good amount of time per
I
day?
think so.
especially on weekends, I think weekdays maybe like 45 an hour, and if like you
Yeah, like
have,
just more free.
so yeah, on weekends we do 2 hours, but on the weekdays, we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
So
so I
like
mean,
45 an hour
they
is
have like
good.
a lot of work to do, but
Mhm.
and stuff.
Depends.
Well, yeah, like just during things like a little slower. Don't just jump straight into 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah, like take step by step. Maybe one day take 1 hour 58 minutes, 1 hour 48 minutes, 1 hour 38 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes. Just seeing that slowly progressive so they don't feel like that they're just like missing it all the time.
Yeah.
even though, yeah, 30 minutes is really extreme. So like just try, like, maybe if your child is used to like 8 hours of screen time, limit it.
Yeah.
Limit it to maximum 4. And then
Like if,
slowly
if it's like really that bad,
yeah. To
Yeah,
then
you have
get
to, it's like a
hours.
drug. You have to titrate off it like really slow, just little by little, because that's essentially what it is. But you have lots of tips in your book, correct? The Teen Health Revolution for parents to help kids kind of, get off the screen. And what are some other tips that you have?
So
So
our
so we
book, you mentioned that like more for parents, but like we do a lot just like teen to teen. We do mention some things that could help parents, but we really like keep things very teen to teen. But because it's health is very general. It'll work for everyone. It's just a lot more simple. We do a lot more tips that a lot of teens are going to deal with, because there's not a lot of teen books out there that are like talking about health. So we really want to bring this to the health world about teens, because teens are the next generation, and we really want teens to be more invested in their health too.
But we do have a lot of practical tips in there because, like we say, it's a simple health book that anybody can do to implement to their life. That if they want to become better, if they want to improve their health, even adults. I mean, these are practical tips, free, easy things anyone can really do. Like keeping your phone away or having a limit on yourself, even an adult can do. It's anyone could do it, but we specifically want to do it for teens by teens. But at the end of the day, our mom taught us this, and she's also implementing it for herself. So there's a lot of things that adults can also benefit from as well.
Yeah, and like we also go over like 20 chronic conditions that like teens might go and they're going through to help them, like acne, like how do you get rid of acne, like the digestive issues, how do you get rid of that, how do you make it feel better?
Yeah, without like using just the straight prescription drug, how can we heal it very naturally, holistically, slowly, give it to help your body?
And plus, it's all expert backed. We, after interviewing over 200 plus experts, New York Times bestsellers, Harvard professors, we had so many practical and like beneficial, life-changing tips that we wanted to put them into this book. So there's what they say, and we also have what we do. So what do the holistic kids do? At the end of each chapter, you'll even find that.
Yeah. How long did it take you guys to write the book?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, they took a lot of time. There's a
They're
lot of work.
They're constant editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like really good tips are like just first of all being mindful, creating that positive, like creating that routine without your phone is something that we really mention in our book. Like start slowly, maybe getting like limiting your technology, creating more of a routine without your phone.
Yeah, and also being mindfulness means being fully present in the world. Like when you're mindful, you can unlock your true potential. Like, but nowadays teens are just scrolling, eating whatever, staying up late, sitting on the couch, like, playing video games for hours and hours and hours, not even know how long they're playing. And like it's time for us, like for people to stop like blindly following, like putting toxins, like blindly following, putting toxins on our bodies. Like we are living mindfulness. So we need to know what we need to do.
And the app that I need to get is an app that basically locks your phone for a period of time. So even if you want to get on your phone, you can't. But it just seems like it'd be kind of torturous. But I think that's probably a good solution for some people that
Yeah, we do talk about creating like that screen limit, like something that you can do like on specific apps, like something like the camera app is not going to be as dopamine like stimulating as something as TikTok or Instagram.
That's what we give like our baby when if he wants the phone, we like turn it on airplane mode. Here, look at the camera picture.
Yeah, look at the photos.
Instead of giving him, because we realize actually, because we have a 3-year-old, so we're experimenting a little bit. But we see when we recognize that when we give him a phone and he starts scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, he actually then has more tantrums and he's more irritable after. Because once you take away that phone, then he just like comes crashing down. All that dopamine he hits he just had, he just goes crazy.
Yeah, and then you can like create a routine with your, like if it's a younger one who's addicted to the phone, just create like a routine with him. Like, you know what, we're not gonna do this anymore. We're gonna look at photos that like what we're gonna see. Because when we constantly say, you know what, okay, yeah, you can have this phone, then he's gonna expect more of it later. Because they're like really young and they're not gonna understand. So really just creating this routine is gonna make them, like for parents who have younger kids.
Some easy, simple tips is all anyone can do is like, first of all, like we said, limiting your phone, but also sometimes it's going to like a digital detox. I know our mom loves to do this all the time. Also just creating like a phoneless routine. Why do you need to have your phone everywhere you go? Like, especially in the house, like I realized some people, they literally can't leave their room without their phone.
Yeah, people get anxiety. They feel anxiety if they
Like,
don't have their phone.
Exactly. Leave it on the desk, leave it next, like somewhere, and go eat food without your phone. It sounds almost impossible to most people, but that's how we have to retrain our brains to stop and get us off of this addiction.
So this episode is brought to you by Chef's Foundry. They've got a fantastic line of cookware called P600. It's totally non-toxic. I think people don't realize that when they're cooking, most people's cookware is adding toxins to their healthy food, that people spend so much money on healthy organic food and then cook it in toxic cookware. And so that includes cast iron, which I do not recommend. It adds way too much iron in a form that we can't absorb. People use aluminum cookware, which is very inexpensive, but it's used at most restaurants, giving us tons of aluminum. People are also using ceramic cookware, which can leach toxins into your food. And not to mention the nonstick cookware. It just has so many PFAS or PFAS that is so toxic. It's one of the forever chemicals. So you really have to pay attention to what you're cooking in. So that's why I recommend the P600 line by Chef's Foundry, so that you can have peace of mind when you're cooking and you're not getting any nasty chemicals like lead or cadmium or nickel or PFAS in your healthy food. You can get a special discount for my listeners by going to bit.ly/Myers Detox. So that's bit.ly/Myers Detox, MYERS DETOX, to get an exclusive discount just for my listeners. I want you to be thinking about what you're cooking your food in, and I highly recommend the P600 line by Chef's Foundry. Yeah, and bare minimum, get off the phone a couple hours before bed. Like, you don't want to be looking in that blue light, because you're making your brain think you're staring at the sun. Like, I'm staring at this O-ring light right now. So it just releases cortisol. That's the cue. Hey, let's make cortisol, that blue light. The sun releases blue light, and then you suppress your melatonin. You don't sleep. You're gonna stay up, and you're like, oh, I'm so active and awake. I might as well just get on my phone, and the cycle continues.
And a good routine that we implement into our lives is especially gratitude, but especially morning gratitude.
Mhm.
So every single day that you wake up, say, 10 things that you're grateful for. If that's too much, 3 things. If that's too much, even 1 thing that you're grateful for. Just doing things step by step, increasing, like putting that gratitude into your day, because actually studies have come out that gratitude shifts our subconscious from negative to positive. It actually help dictates our thoughts or actions. And if we can help change our subconscious to that positive, imagine how much more successful we'll be. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody's successful just by being negative all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, like our subconscious governs 90% of our thoughts and actions. Like having a positive subconscious is gonna really put our thoughts into positive mode. Like gratitude has the power to like improve genetics, like traumatic experiences, and and years of like learned behaviors. Like a lot of people don't know that gratitude is like key, kind of.
Mhm.
Like there because there's so much negativity in the world. Like we spend hours like on virtual reality. Like that only highlights the good in people's life. Like on social media, you scroll and you see people what they have and what you don't have. Like that makes you less like more negative. Like I don't have that.
Yeah, I used to torture myself that way with magazines when I was a teen, but I can't imagine having just this constant stream of beautiful teenagers to compare myself to, or their bodies, or their clothes, or their makeup, or their hair, and the body dysmorphia that especially girls can fall prey to on social media. I can't even imagine what that would be like versus my childhood, just comparing myself to magazines.
Mhm.
And
But
that's
could
why I
that in
think,
itself cause a lot of problems for many girls?
and now a lot of people just they see, oh, this person is on this vacation, this person has this person has that. And what they don't realize is that that's a highlight reel of somebody else's life. And how their life really is.
Mhm.
And then they take that and they compare it to their selves, and then they put themselves down, and then they say, oh, I don't have this, I'm really bad at this. Even like I remember in class once, the teacher he gave everyone a piece of paper with a lot of different words on it, and he told us to circle like 5 words that we would describe ourselves as. And after everyone scribbled down their answers and they circled their words, he asked the class, raise your hand if most of the words that you circled were negative. And sadly, 90% of that class raised their hand. And this is just the reality of what teens are going through especially today. And we need to start shifting all that subconscious, learning how to deep breathe, being mindful of what we're doing. Like, we need to wake ourselves up when we realize we're being negative. We need to stop ourselves, shake us out of that mentality, especially if we're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. We need to stop and say, no, I can't do this. Like, at least teach ourselves and teach our kids to manage their own time, and especially be able to become better and reach their true potential so that they can be better adults in the future, especially when they grow older.
Yeah, and you mentioned having more of a sense of purpose, and I think it's so important to to set goals, set, your daily goals or your yearly goals or 5-year goals or 10-year goals, and how much time you're going to allocate each day to those goals. So you're taking the phone away, but you're replacing it with something that's more constructive and self-esteem building and confidence building, and being really mindful of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you're replacing this positive behavior and positive habits with the phone.
I was gonna say teens they're so uncomfortable with boredom. And I realized that this is really interesting because boredom is where all the inventions happen. Boredom is where you can really express yourself when it comes to and increase your mind, really. And a lot of teens, they're really uncomfortable with this feeling of boredom. Like I mentioned before, yeah, our phone's there. It's like the boredom fixer. We don't have to ever feel bored again because we have this. And now we are really suppressing our mind because we're constantly being shown all these other ideas, and we're not really making our own ideas, because boredom is really okay, because boredom can help your mind, boredom can help your ideas flow, it can help you understand who you are, help you be mindful of what you really what is around you and what you can really become.
Especially, I know I heard a lot of teens were afraid of being alone with our own thoughts, and we need to start fixing this. We need to start taking control of our minds, control of our brains, and control of what we're thinking as well. Because if we can't even do that, then how are we gonna ever achieve anything in life? And I know one thing our mom especially used to do, and that still does now, every single week, try to at least schedule maybe even half an hour of nature. Like, go on a hike, go outside, schedule okay, like our mom used to tell us, Wednesday, after school from 4 to 4:30 or 4 to 5, we're just gonna go outside into nature, no phones, no nothing. We're just gonna walk. We're gonna, either go to the playground or, go next to the river, just hear the birds, just go out and into nature, and she used to joke, hug some trees. And
Yeah,
even just
you have to have an
30 minutes a
appointment
day would be
scheduled.
amazing.
Yeah, you have to have an
Uh,
appointment scheduled to do that now.
Because I know, especially for us, because originally she started doing it, but she didn't. She just told us, oh, we're going out in nature, and even us, we were like, no, but we want to do this, we want to do that. What really helped was scheduling that, so teens, we can kind of put it into our schedule. We're not stressed going out into nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And so why don't you just tell us about your book? Tell us about all the different things that the topics that you go over in your book, The Teen Health Revolution.
So we have an acronym of the revolution, which is like REV. Each of those letters stands for a type of health. Like R,
revolutionize the gut,
E,
eat real food,
B,
vanquish toxins,
O,
Stress management,
Uh,
optimize stress management,
L,
love nature,
U,
unite with others,
T,
tech limits,
I,
invest in sleep. O,
open to gratitude and purpose,
N.
navigate your decisions with mindfulness. And so we use this simple acronym to help teens and and adults and kids educate themselves and implement key principles into their lives to reach their true potential.
Yeah, like if you really need help on your diet, you're like, oh, man, how about eating real food? You're like, oh, how about I should flip to the E section, eat real feel food, and that'll be really easy. It's just a really easy way to find the sections.
And plus, in Eat Real Food, we have a lot of the sciencey stuff because it's food, and so if you just want to skip all that kind of stuff because even we get bored reading all that stuff sometimes. Just skip to the back where we have the practical aspect. What do the holistic kids do? And that's like the practical, simple, easy, free things anyone can do.
So for anyone listening that really wants to detox their body, go to heavymetalsquiz.com. I created a quiz for you. It only takes a couple of seconds. Based on some lifestyle questions, you can get your toxicity score and get a free video series that answers all of your frequently asked questions about how to detox your body. Check it out, heavymetalsquiz.com. Yeah, I've had to really go over with my daughter all about diet and just tell her this is what's in McDonald's Chicken McNugget. It's yoga mat foam is in that, and motor oil, and all like 50 different ingredients that go into a chicken McNugget, and how disgusting they are. And when you learn all this stuff, you're like, wow, I really don't want to eat that. It's really disgusting and really bad for your health, and not to mention just the sanitation at some of the fast food places as well.
And especially because we like to call like ultra processed foods, we don't like to call them food. We like to call them like food like substances.
Like junk food. Because it's not really food.
And because at the end of the day, that's what it really is. And that's why we also always tell parents, teach your kids that these foods, what's inside their foods, read ingredients. Teach your kids how to read ingredients. It's like right under the nutrition label. Tell them if you can't pronounce it and it seems like it was made in a chemical lab, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah, look it up and see what's in that. Like what is that polyethylene glycol, and all the other weird things that are in the foods today. Oh, and making an association between feeling really terrible after you eat fast food, because the teens can just be like garbage disposals. Their bodies are so resilient, but you still have to feel really bad, after you're eating Taco Bell and eating some of these other places. You feel terrible.
So yeah, education is so key because like I began with talking about our story, I mentioned how our mom was on her journey with us and how she was also learning and teaching us. And then we went and we spreaded this education to other kids. And then now we have a book and we're spreading education to, we're spreading this, we're helping teens learn about their body. So it's all about really educating ourselves on this because like I say again, teens, we don't really, a lot of us, we really don't know what's going on. We just think, yes, this is there so because it makes me feel like this. This is tasty, so I have it. This stops boredom, so I'll have it. We don't know why it's happening. That's why the why is so important. And that's why doing the research yourself too is really important because it helps you realize.
Also, parents. A lot of reasons why parents don't say the why is because most parents don't know themselves. So please educate yourselves for our sake.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be very tempting to just order fast food for your kids and you don't feel like cooking. And a lot of people don't know how to cook and or don't have the time, or it's overwhelming, or they're tired. And it's so easy to just order fast food, which is why a lot of kids end up eating that and then getting addicted to it and all the food chemicals and the artificial flavors. And it's just astounding how many adults only eat fast food. Like they just don't want anything else because of the taste. Their taste buds have been hijacked. It's shocking.
And that's also an addiction. I know teens, adults, and kids were all addicted to, this food. And even like I know for me, I used to love my favorite food ever was Fanta and Flaming Hot Cheetos. And step by step, over like 7, 8 years, now I realize that all that was a bunch of chemicals in a bag. And step by step, eventually we stopped eating, this, and then we stopped having McDonald's, and we stopped having, things with tons of GMOs in them, and then we stopped this. And over 7 years, we were able to retrain our taste buds, and now they don't even look delicious anymore. We recognize them as the poison that it is.
Yeah, and it's gross. Like you can't go back once you know what's in all that stuff. You don't even desire it. I mean, maybe occasionally, but for the most part, it's I can't even imagine what I was a teen. I ate a lot of fast food, but I can't even imagine going back to that, eating fast food or processed food and Pop-Tarts and cereal and all that at every single meal. It's just unfathomable. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was great. And I've never had teens on the podcast before. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are veterans. You've got over 200 podcasts. What's the name of your podcast, by the way?
The Holistic Kid Show.
Yeah,
great.
the Holistic Kids Show.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so parents listening, get your kids, your teens dialed in to their show to start. They want to start learning more about health and feeling better mentally and physically and spiritually. And you guys can go out and get your book, The Teen Health Revolution. And you guys had a traditional publisher, right? Who published the book?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Bloomsbury Publishing. So
Yeah,
lots of thanks to them as well. And honestly, it's been our pleasure. We can't thank you so enough. So thank you so much for inviting us today.
Yeah, and what is the name of
My
your
pleasure.
website?
well, the holistickidshow.com and the teenhealthrevolution.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. And everyone, I'm Dr. Wendy Myers. Thanks for tuning into the Myers Detox podcast, where, I just love bringing you guys information every week to help you upgrade your health so you can, step into your life purpose and be the healthiest that you can be. So thanks for tuning in every week.
The Myers Detox podcast is created and hosted by Wendy Myers. This podcast is for information purposes only. Statements and views expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Wendy Myers and the producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.